You. Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Venus Friday, everyone. So much love. Does the screen look different today?
I think it's just we're closer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good morning, everyone. Chin chin.
Good morning.
Chin chin, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Please come in, join us. Let's make sure the sound is working well. And introduce yourselves and let us know where you're joining us from. Christine.
Good morning, Christine.
Good morning. Please let us know where you're joining us from. And also what tea you're drinking. So mine is brewing. Michael, what did you make today?
The same one that I made for you.
No, I made for myself.
Well, the same one, the same tea.
Okay, would you like to share?
A robust.
It's the red robust African. Oh, mine. Look at that.
The red robust.
I know. Look.
Let me get it.
Yes, please.
Because I know you liked it.
Hi, Lori. Nice to see you here. Oh, this is dripping. So this is one of my water bottle and tea bottle. And sometimes it travels everywhere. But sometimes it drips at the bottom, but I'm not being careful with it. Thank you, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much. Lovely to have everybody. Janice, Lee, nice to see you.
Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Lori.
So let's see. Janice is having ginger, honey, and lemon. I love that. Do you ever put cayenne in it? Sometimes, as you've been here, I put cayenne in it and sometimes fresh mint leaves and what have you. Janice is in Baltimore. We know that. Lori, where are you joining us from? Lee's from, McLean, Virginia.
Good
Thank you,
morning,
Lee.
Miriam.
So much love.
Good morning, Christine.
Hi, Miriam. Miriam is in Virginia. Christine Gill, you are from where?
Virginia.
Okay,
She's in
great.
Virginia in Reston.
The Healthy Skin Yogi Tea. That one detoxes a lot, so you got to be careful. I had a few of those. They've been coming in.
Good morning, Dan. Good
Hi,
morning,
Dan.
Lee.
Nice to see you. Hi, Dad. Not drinking tea today, huh?
That's okay.
That's all right.
Good morning, Chuck.
Chuck, you're back in Wisconsin, huh?
It's cold here.
It's cold here.
Chuck, it's interesting how the temperature shifted very quickly. Yesterday we were paddleboarding and it was quite warm. And then Honey's intuition was like, we got to get in. And literally within like a half an hour, the wind came in, the clouds came in, and the whole temperature shifted. And of course, people are talking about huge wind flares and just energies moving through. So there's been a very quick, fast energy shifting into this weekend. From the
we just turned off the fireplace, so that's why we have this on, because otherwise it's been so cold when we put the heater up. Hi, Kim. So much love,
Kim.
sweetheart.
Good morning, Christine.
We love having you on. So happy. To me, it's not just Good Friday today. I woke up this morning, I told Michael, I said, it's great Friday. It's divine Friday. I can feel the lifted energy. And of course, there's been a lot happening on the back end, which maybe I'll speak with that a little bit. That has to do with my children and all of this. And I woke up feeling the resurrection energy within myself, within the collective energy, and just this really. Now it's been lifting and lifting. But
Good morning,
really, this lift energy. Hi, Valerie. So much love. Thank you all for joining. When you're joining, and please leave a little note so we can see where these portals of light are coming in. And just relax back, grab your teas, because we can do our chin chin today.
I big glass, but I didn't want to break it.
The salamate. Yeah. We love. See, this is our crystalline diamond heart. When Michael and I got our apartment 3 years ago, end of March, we didn't have any furniture, we didn't have anything. So everything here has been donated to us pretty much. This table was bought though. And before we had anything, we got these glasses, remember?
Yeah.
We didn't have anything. I said, Michael, look, we're the crystalline diamond hearts. And that's what we've been drinking out of.
I love the sacred geometry in it, because in the hearts, there are all these little pyramids, little triangles.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we work with all the time. So anyway, so it does feel like this beautiful.
Good morning, Christina. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Christina. See you. So much love. Ginger peach tea. I know you love that. Peppermint teas, Valerie. Stomach feels a little bit. Okay.
Valerie,
beautiful.
yeah, I have some serious head pressure So
yeah, a lot of stuff. We're gonna go through all of that. But anyway, I felt like this morning, I do have to say this, from last week Thursday to this past yesterday Thursday, I've been going through all kinds of stuff. So let's go back 2 weeks ago when we saw you. We were prepared for April 1st, internet shutting down for maybe 10 days or maybe 3 days.
Or maybe not at all.
Maybe not at all. But we've been very prepared for it. So, and then we had our ecstatic dance, putting all the prayers. And that Tuesday, the night, the 31st, before April 1st, we had such a powerful, so many of you that are here joined that global meditation, which was just incredible with all that was experienced. And then April 1st began. And so then from that, we have been going through a whole bunch of things. And one of the things from last weekend for the Stargate, I told Michael, I said, I really feel called from Friday. I want to just disconnect completely. I don't want to wait for, the global internet shutting down. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down myself, and just this desire to really be inward, like really inward, completely shut off from the internet, from social media, from everything. So I pretty much got cut off from that Friday afternoon to Monday afternoon of this past week. And it was beautiful to go through the 4-4 Stargate 3 different times, sitting in the meditation and just really being in that place. And most important thing, one second, let me show you all something. The things that bring me so much joy. Look, this is the result of one of the mustard seed.
She went
microgreen, and
nuts
one second,
only. She decided to plant so many seeds that.
Look. This is our cucumber coming in. Yeah.
You can imagine someone that has planted seeds and has gone wild on a rage. This is Honey June at her highest level of literally.
So as a result of it, look. This is my celery, regrown celery right from the refrigerator. This is what started.
Like literally, she went on YouTube and found all the plants that when you're done using, you can actually place them into the soil. So we found out from carrots, we found out from celery, we found out from
the green onions.
There's the green onions. So they showed all these ways where you can take leftovers from the vegetables. And she just went rock and roll. I went deeper into meditation and trying to be still. Honey went into like, I'm going to plant every seed.
I did that too, but I needed to put look, this is the garlic coming out. And look, this is my first turnip.
See, this is the turnip itself.
So I just cut it and then started having it.
Like you can even take like a tomato. Imagine taking a tomato, slicing the tomato. You could just take a slice of tomato, place this tomato into the soil, and then all of a sudden.
So these are not from seeds. This is from actual baby delicious tomatoes that are like French. And I just literally planted them in a small one, and they're growing in here. So
I came back from Wegmans in the Mid-Atlantic area. It's a super big grocery store, and I found these tasty orange tomatoes. And when I shared them with Honey, she's like, "Oh my gosh,
they taste like the ones in France we would have every day."
Of course, she's like, "We got to get the seeds." So we cut the tomatoes open, and we got all the seeds.
No, but you know planting. What I said? I don't know whether this will go. Let's just take it as we cut it. Let's put it in. Let's see what happens. And so that past weekend, just to even put my hands in dirt, how much did I put my hands in dirt?
I mean,
the
apartment turned from what you see as a sanctuary into a plant, a plantarium.
So, and let's just say, I cannot wait to tell you, like, there's a workshop that I'm going to be putting together. There's so much wisdom that has come in, like a mystical garden for you to create. But I'll share that later. I'm not going to get too excited. So, being inward,
and
it was so beautiful. I missed you all, but it was so beautiful to just be inside of me and just with these seeds and my hands in the ground and just inward, really, really inside, and experience. To me, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and participate in global internet shutdown and just so just so enjoy it, and it was amazing.
And what's so interesting, what I find with planting seeds and what you did is like, from nature, it's the ultimate truth. It's the ultimate wisdom of when we're surrounded by nature, we feel this natural medicine. Honey and I have noticed when we take our daily walks, to go deeper and to literally plant our seeds deeper, it's amazing to capture the innocence of nature and the innocence of like planting the seeds, seeking and putting in all of the energy that we're placing into the soil and allowing that to flourish in front of us.
But besides that, we've been like, my prayer's been singing with them. We've been playing the sound bowl around them. Like, it's just been like just so much joy. And we shifted things around here. So point being, it was so beautiful to be inside. It was so beautiful to sit in the meditation, but cut off from everything else and not still take part in the global meditation the way that is being called, but not follow anything anybody else, just as I explained that before. Just this amazing internal space. But the true quarantine, there's a gift when you yourself quarantine yourself, because you want to meet every part of you and you want to discover all parts of you that wants to be rediscovered, from your beautiful monad, from your soul aspect, from the spirit to the soul, to all parts of you, your own counsel that is coming in. And when you are able to ground the energy, and I want to talk about this because your hands and feet have the electric charge of the negative ions. Not negative ions, there's the negatively charged, well, they are. But what happens in the, let's say, your toroidal field that most people don't understand. So when your feet, that's when you take your shoes off and you walk barefoot on earth, or when you take your hand, put it on dirt, what you're doing is electrically charged energy of this negative ion is able to be implemented into earth, and it goes into earth's grids, and that's what actually lightning does. So what happens is it restructures back. So it restructures the fluids in your body. What this does, that's why you feel so good. So I saw Lee was saying that I just love, what was this? She's like, I love growing. It makes me feel so happy. Growing plants make me feel so joyful. It's because, so with at a cellular level, we're having more negatively charged ion, which has the spectrum of the 12 rays of light in it. So they're vibrating faster speed. That's what brings a lot of joy. And like, I am usually at a probably an extreme level of joy. Michael can tell you about that. We'll just say
a high frequency that is usually much larger and runs at a higher battery than most people on this earth.
But when I touch this, like the joy, it's so ecstatic. I can't help it because I can feel all my body is vibrating. But what's happening is my toroidal field is being charged. And so that's a beautiful immunity, natural immunity, that around the cell level, at the cellular level, at the cell level, there is a plasma ring around it, which is actually called corona. We're going to talk about this in a moment. And that crowning around the cell is a plasma that has to do with the structure system of the inner water, and it's electrically charged. So it becomes very, very strong. It's your natural immune. And this is how you, at the highest level, you can be shielded and protected against, which we're going to go to 5G and all of that, because your 5D, fifth dimensional frequency and higher, is able to handle this and transmute it back so it doesn't permeate into your body. So I'm getting a little ahead of my my time on this.
And what's really interesting is anytime
Christine is here. Hi, Christine. Girls. Hi, sweetie.
And anytime, as you guys already know, is when we place our hands into the soil, it really grounds us into Mother Earth directly. And it's wonderful when we can bring it into our homes, because many times in springtime, due to the weather or due to what's surrounding outside, is when we can bring that into our home, place our hands into it, and just really feel that ultimate connection with Mother Earth and our just nourishment. Because I feel, a lot of times at what we're experiencing right now, we can just be thrown off in our distractions. And I feel with plants, I feel with getting out there, Valerie, you said placing your hands on the trees. It's amazing when we can really invite Mother Earth, invite that every day into our lives, because that is our ultimate home. And to see what's blooming, it's amazing to see how quickly these seeds move up. It's powerful to see what happens just in a little sunlight from the microgreens, from all the shoots that are coming up, and what it brings to our spirit. I find that it's our ultimate connection, that it's just so important to bring in our daily balance each and every day. And that's one thing that we've learned, that not only has it been with the plants, but just really getting out into nature, because within the nature, we're seeing just the field of energy, especially walking into the trees. I'm sure you would appreciate this, Valerie. When we walk into the trees in our backyard, there's just this colossal of wisdom that's around us. And it feels like it's this force field of energy that once we walk in, they hold us. They provide this precious energy. And even in my imagination, I talk to them. I thank them for all the areas that are coming out. And what's beautiful is, with all these seeds that are being planted now, we're seeing all these green leaves starting to pop out, all these new buds that are forming. And it's just phenomenal to really witness that interconnection that we have within our plants that we're seeding, and also the trees and nature around us, because I find that is our greatest level of alignment.
And the alignment during this quarantine time, as everything is shifting, changing, we've had this time, it's given us the opportunity to really take the power back. I feel take the power of starting. We've known for a long time, start growing your own food, and not have anything be an excuse. We're in an apartment. I've had herbs for a while, but this kicked it to the next gear. Anything that you had within your field, from the thought consciousness, from the cognizance, that kicked it into another gear. It's like, start doing it. Don't let anything be an excuse anymore. So I felt the gift of this quarantine has done that. So as I spoke before 2 weeks ago with my friend Neda, she started her compost. So we've been taking all the material and taking it there as she's starting her gardening. And we keep talking about, okay, let's start making it as a community garden on all of this, because there's this power that's being returned to us during this phase, which is so incredible. And within this particular week, I felt, I don't know about you all, but I felt like I just went through the Stargate was so important, that 444, coming back to that really triple flame energy, this 3 energy, that alignment. It's like, again, this cardinal cross on different planes landing. And I felt there was a reset in me. Michael, you can speak of that as well. And I also felt at the same time, last Thursday to this past Thursday, I went through quite a bit of stuff that had to do with both of my sons. And I've cried a lot this week, and I needed to be inward, and just a lot of cry, just facing a lot of things that's been heavy sitting on my chest. And it was lifted last night. We had a very beautiful experience with both of my sons last night, really heart to heart, like just so incredible. And being able to see a wisdom that comes from both of them and their level of communication with each other. So my oldest one is almost 20, and my younger one is who'll be 20 in June. 17 in June. And there's some changes that we are inviting into our lives, Michael and I think some of you had heard before that I've said my younger one wants to live with us, and opening that space. So for us to find another place to be able to have this happen, and just the level of communication between our hearts, and there was something that my younger son did last night that left me speechless, that left Michael speechless, that touched my older son, and I got to just witness the magnificence that's right there, I always knew it's in him, and it just needs the space of love for it to step forward. And he really stepped up last night, and I mean, it just brought so much tears to me. It was so healing for my heart. And my older son this week, a deer hit his car, so his car got quite a bit totaled. Thankfully, he was okay. Then he's had a lot of stress because he's in college and everything went to online school, but his computer also crashed, and then he borrowed his brother's computer, and that also crashed when he came last time. There a lot been happening.
It's interesting when things happen.
Like that.
What the message and
then so last night, my younger son, from his, most of he's gone professional game content creator. So last night, from his heart, like he just really came forward. He's like, yo, bro, like, let me buy you a computer right now. You've had so much stress. Let me do this for you. And Michael and I just looked at him, and during this time, like, it was so touching for me that they have each other's back, and there's this grace in them, not just mine. Like, I just get to be a witness to mine, but their advanced consciousness is at such a level, and they're so generous in being able to just, with so much force and power, step forward and also assist. And my younger son, it was so beautiful. He's like, mommy, if you and Michael need help this month paying your bill, I'll help you. It brought so much tears to me.
It was the ultimate healing that I feel.
Ultimate. It was, but not because of that, but their relationship,
and the healing that takes place. And I find this is for many parents, when there is emotions that come up of just the safety of your children, the comfort, the protection. I mean, I'm not a mother, but I know what I see from my mother growing up, and what living with Honey and our beautiful union is. In that motherhood, there's a lot of things that can come up to really pull your field. And it was really powerful last week just to see the dynamic of energy moving through. And as that dynamic of energy came through, it hit you in a way that it really knocked you back. And I
had to face feeling like I wished, let me just put this, because I wished I could have taken this now. I wish I had the opportunity to just get up and move to another place, take my son with us, and help him and provide the environment that he needs, that's right for him, and
bring up stuff from the past that
and through and be able to and there was this, I had to really go into deep prayers, and I really felt there was an initiation, another initiation, to just breathe through the amount that was surfacing in me and go through it. And I felt that's why it was so important for me to cut off from that Monday to that Friday to Monday afternoon, just so I can be in this space and go through the grace of it, and allow the earth energy to ground my energy, to hold me as that great mother, so that I can just and be totally okay. Be totally okay in feeling this, and not rush through it either.
And what I thought was really beautiful is when her children came over last night, and how the healing can naturally happen in just the gesture of energy moving forward. Because yesterday, especially in the evening, I'm sure many of you will check in with you in a little while, but many of you may have felt the huge frequencies that were moving through. Honey was knocked out. She was a little chap. I had, a very, still now a lot of pressure in my head. At one point I felt extremely dizzy. And so when picking up her children, it was phenomenal. As we usually do when we eat, there's this check-in with them. And I thought it was wonderful that the phones weren't there, and they were able, for the first time that I witnessed, for two teenagers to communicate heart to heart.
Really hard to voice.
As they were communicating, they were actually giving the opportunity to provide, in their subconscious, it was like they were doing what was brought forward in them. Yet here for Honey, it was creating this automatic healing energy for her just to receive without her
just to sit back and witness with
right.
you their conversation and their solution
Exactly.
from such a crystalline hearted Christed place. That's what just moved me. Like my sons are going to be like, I mean, these are these children. Thank goddess I felt like they're not in school right now. They can be in a home environment, that they can be protected with their energies greater away from these things, so they can naturally, and like my younger son says, he's like, when I come here is the space I can communicate, and he feels safe where he can just express the level of sensitivity he feels.
And what's so beautiful about that is to see how their innocence is being expressed for their love for each other, and how that innocence has an equal vibration that affects us, because I feel that innocence really brings us back into our heart. It really shows the purity of life, of so much happening on the outside, so many things going on, and then all of a sudden, whether it's children, whether it's teenagers, just that immaturity, clean, beautiful innocence that is brought forward, and to watch that and experience it, and just as your beloved, to sit there and watch that you just observed it and witnessed it, and for the first time they weren't going at each other, they were just sharing, and I felt this whole stream of energy was connecting all of us, and I thought it was phenomenal to see how that created this ability of pure love within the family.
And I felt, I mean, that was on a personal level, and I felt like on a collective level, I mean, yesterday particularly, I was like, wow, so much chaotic energy is moving through. It's like, and we actually had an extreme, insane level of wind come in. In the morning was just warm enough and beautiful. I was like, Michael, let's get on the paddleboard real quick before the craziness of the wind kicks in. As it kicked, and you could tell the spirit of the wind. Remember, as the wind came, I started feeling it. I was like, my God, spirit of the wind is really clearing. And that's why I felt this morning, I was like, wow, like truly something between the lightning and that. And that's, again, going back, when the lightning comes, when it hits it, it creates this charge. I almost feel like, where's a paper that I can like draw something real quick? It creates this charge field, like exactly to toroidal field, and it gives us the opportunity to recharge our field. And when we are able to put our hands and feet onto the ground, we're able to be rebalanced, nourished. And so this morning I felt the rejuvenation. I felt the lifted energy. I felt like really the resurrection energy before we go into the resurrection. And I was perfectly fine with this morning, whether we're going to have internet or not. I was like, it doesn't matter, because we're all so deeply connected. I feel like to draw this real quick, my love. Thank you, sweetie.
And as she's drawing it, I just want to check. We want to check in with how you guys are doing. Good morning. Good afternoon, beautiful brother Demetrius. Good morning, Caitlin. Thank you for always joining. Good morning, Melissa. Thank you for joining. So good to see you guys all. Just checking in with all of you as Honey is just sharing a written image that she's going to explain, but just seeing how you guys are feeling, what's coming up for you, how these energies have been affecting it. And in this quarantine, just to express what's coming through, because we're all here connected as one soul family, heart to heart, and we're always here to listen to what's been moving through, because I know that each and every one of us are going through our beautiful journeys. And in this beautiful journey that we're feeling, so much is coming up to be cleared. So, the positives, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, without judgment, however it's coming through, let us know what you're feeling and what's moving through you, because this is your time to express. This is your time to open up. And it's beautiful to go from. Dan, I'm loving the reboot of society. Exactly. Yeah. We're feeling that too, and it's amazing to feel that that reboot actually in the springtime, to see what's moving through. Melissa, all good, but last 24 hours headaches and clearing. I have a headache right now, Melissa. I felt that in the evening yesterday, as I feel frequencies are moving. How else are you guys doing? What's happening in your world? What are you noticing? Are any of you guys just being like fed up, or do you feel like if there's any new insights coming what are you aware of in just in your beautiful day to day? Because there's so much happening, and it's great to share what's moving through. Because as you share, many of us can resonate with it because we're all going through this journey together. Lori, I posted a picture of the field today. Definitely feeling this. Yeah, feeling body adjustments the last 24 hours. Thank you, Valerie. I'm feeling expanded and lighter now. Thank you, Demetrius.
Yep.
It has been a whirlwind. There's been lots moving through. So thank you for sharing.
So let me go to my amateur drawing for a second. So this being us, again, the tutorial field, this is not quite right, because when it comes here, there's a spiraling that goes through, goes out, comes back, and then from inside goes both ways. So it goes from Earth out this way, and it also comes from the solar sun this way, coming back in. But it's the same thing that happens to the tree. So from source light, it comes in, vibrates back out, goes out, and then from earth energy goes out, vibrates back in. So it's constantly moving. So what is happening when these hands and these feet act exactly like this? When you put them into the soil, because they're negatively charged, both of them, both hands and feet, when you place them, you become kind of like this conduit of this electric energy that can ground it. And what happens is your auric field becomes highly strong. That's not quite the right word. The protective shield around it is covered with the deeper layers of the rays of light. So the frequency that is not of the same vibration has a harder time penetrating into your field. So for those of you who have had your crystalline diamond light body activation with me, so when you're in your diamond light body, that diamond light body is such a protective field. And what happens is that from that place, again, this becomes a very, very powerful protective field, and it cannot penetrate within. So that's the gift when you're able to, if you're in an apartment like us, have a plant or something, put your hand into its ground. It will help allow your energy to be drawn and also to vibrate around you. So let me just also share this with you in terms of your cell level. For example, so this being your cell, right? So your cell, there's your nucleus, there's the protons, there's the electrons, right? And the cell wall around it, is very interesting, because this is your plasma, but this is also charged, and this is the protective shield, which is corona. And this is very important for it to be protected, because it can really support, and we don't want this to be too positively charged. If these are positively charged like that, that means the oxygen has gone out, and this cell becomes oxidized, and that means it will infect the other cells, because the electric communication cannot go, which is oxygen being able to be carried, and to allow this communication take place to keep you at the vitality. That's why we take antioxidants, and that's why these greens that have they carry that spectrum of light, which feeds your system, which keeps your body at a very higher vibration rate. Anyway, point being, this is also all part of this 5G thing, which we'll talk about in just a minute, which is a huge part of all of this. The other thing that I wanted to address is that, as we're going through our updates collectively, part of this has to do, like the last couple of days, the headache, pressure, all of this. Again, there's a there's one thing about the streams, the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance have a lot to do with this, because what is moving through, it has to do with the synchronicity with our hearts, and the coherence of our heart is connecting with the coherence of the planet. So these solar discs of light we have, they're pulsing together, they're trying to pulse with the same as Mother Earth, and we're just all trying to integrate in the same synchronicity, while there's all this influence that is within, that is also doing its job, attempting to block this synchronicity. So we're synchronizing back to the divine plan. We're synchronizing to source light. We're synchronizing to our 12 rays of light and higher. We're synchronizing to our 5th dimensional to 12th dimensional aspect of ourselves. We're synchronizing to Gaia's 5th dimensional consciousness, her crystalline golden diamond heart. All of this is happening while we have all of these on a planetary level, all of these debris that are kind of coming out of the way, and they're not so much on the outside, because we ourselves are part of that debris cleaning. Like this week, what I went through, some of this heaviness in my heart, some of the things that I had to face, because I've been writing on joy. But again, these surfaced up so that I can go through it, because this matches the frequency on the outside. This matches what is within the collective that still hasn't healed, what is still being removed, especially because so many of us are on different timelines, and the timelines are all merging. So we are experiencing reality from the timeline in which we are able to experience from the lens that we are putting our attention to, whether it's the mental lens, whether it's the heart lens, where we're coming from.
And it's beautiful that you said that, honey, because, one thing that I really find with the gift of the coronavirus is as everything on the outside has been brought into our field, there's no way to escape what's being brought forth and clearing in the inside. I find that there's so much of our unexpressed emotions, unexpressed thoughts, and just pains and suffering that have been buried for such a deep level. And it's interesting, many of us in the spiritual community, and even myself, when something comes up for me, I see that like, oh, I've done the work for this. Oh, I've already passed that stage. But yet something comes along to remind me that there's still things that still need to be cleared, where it's my limited belief, if it's my defense mechanism in my level of thoughts, if it's like I'm being controlled. All these pieces that have been surfacing within each and every one of us, within ourselves, has been the greatest opportunity to fully express it outwardly, because it's a direct reflection of what's happening outward, and there's no hiding, as we've seen with many times through 2020. This is the direct mirror, which is showing everything about us, and there's no, as we are transitioning, as we are in this new earth, in this new reality, what doesn't hold true for us has to come up and be cleared and cleansed. And it's, as everything is crumbling on the outside, that's also a direct reflection of what's
crumbling inside.
What's crumbling inside, because
right.
of our programs, our conditions, and our beliefs, and not to take it personally or defend it, or to really, it's beautiful to allow our emotions and our healing, but to also be aware that we were brought into this story that was already happening. Take nothing away from the story, yet as the story is crumbling, that own story within ourselves is crumbling. So in that detachment of what we are and who we are, letting go of the label, letting go of the image, letting go of everything that we thought who we are, and now expanding that into the wisdom that we already are. As we came into this incarnation, we came in here in pure light, pure love. And now the gift that comes around this is like, look at the time, look at the space, look at the isolation that we get to go through our wounds. I know that you said, Caitlin, you're going through father trauma. Yeah. All the space and time that it's giving us is such a valuable experience. And that experience is really erupting this energy, so that the full collective, as that's clearing, we're clearing and we're aligning to a higher, in a perfect time. When we look at the biblical nature of what's happening and what we're moving through, it's such a perfect time that we're moving to, and it couldn't be placed at such a metaphoric level of the year of spring, or the time of spring, and how everything is blooming right now. Because as we're blooming, as we're seeding, when summer coming along, this is going to be our full potential to allow that fire to emerge within us. And I just could not be more grateful that as we are expressing, as we're clearing, as we're feeling through this, that this time is given to us to slow down, to be, and to really, really just feel what this silence, what this space, what emotions are coming up, and just honor them, become aware of them. And what Honey Have I've done is, we see what's happening out there. We don't put all of our energy into the conspiracies or the thoughts or the predictions. We create awareness of it, but we focus all of our energies on the light. We focus on what we see and what we're feeling, so that can be anchored and that can be provided, so we could really be the fullness of who we are. And we know that's what we came here to do. And all of us, I know we have different services, we have different feelings that we're going through, but it's beautiful to know that in this space and time, to really just feel, okay, here's my time to feel my purpose. Here's my time to feel who I am. Here's a time just to stop and feel the stillness and innocence that's before me, so I can really see what it's like when we're not constantly moving in this machine. Go, 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 go. Let go of the busyness and just feel that right now.
But doesn't it feel like it's been stages? Don't you all feel it's been stages since, for example, the US, some of us, majority of us in this car in the US, some of us are outside the US, but regardless where you are, like there's been stages where, okay, so get yourself prepared, it's going to go shut down, then you've been quarantined, then going through, okay, some of the concerns, then all the jokes coming out, then trying to figure things out. Like it's been like stage by stage by stage. And I feel like, as the video I had talked about, there's both forces at play, but I can also see from like the video that I talked about Tuesday night after the meditation, from the Galactic Federation of Light perspective, that it's all part of the divine plan. Mm-hmm. So I feel one of the things has been these stages, different ones, and being also in this space of, okay, a little bit of, okay, I've done this, I've cleaned, I've done this, I've done that. And then now what? Okay, I've had more creative images. I've had this, I've gotten the rest that I didn't realize I needed this much rest. I've been getting on my own time. How nice it is. I've been taking better care of my health and well-being and my supplements. Wow, like how amazing. I've been exercising, or I've been creating more, or I've been connecting with family and nature. Like, so there are all of these things coming. And I feel, again, all of this is part of a greater picture, because the greater picture does come with its own debris as well. You cannot accept one thing without the other. You cannot accept the divine plan, be like, okay, well, this dirt and debris was not part of it. The dirt and debris was also part of the transformation, so that you can experience the divine plan greater once you've grown out of it, like really grown out of the dirt, and it's always that growth out of the dirt that gives us this remarkable vision, very much like the plants, like when they shoot out, like it's like this incredible resurrection. And that's the weekend we're going into. How has it been as a resurrection? Do you feel, most of us on this call, we've had numerous resurrections. We have had, like, it seems like we've had resurrection almost every month, or every 6 months, or every 9 months, every year. And then we've had it at different intensity. And then we go through some of the alignments. Then we have like resurrections. And then here we are in so much about like this biblical resurrection. Yet we've known the planetary Christ has been, part of the divine plan, which the major religions have spoken about this for eons ago. There was going to be the second coming, whether it was in all Western religions, but there's been something pre-programmed within us from both Lemuria and then Atlantis, that Lemurian energy of the Magdalene energy, and then the Atlantis, the Yeshua energy. Then here we are in balancing of the both, stepping forward as a resurrected society that runs under the divine laws, the divine governments, the divine societies, the divine beingness, the divine health, the divine wealth, the divine virtues, the divine peace. So all of that is happening. And I feel each of us have, by taking the personal responsibility of doing our part and being a witness to it, being a witness to ourselves, what area still needs to enhance, what area you got it down perfect, now I got to tackle this part within me. So not with another person at all. And this quarantine has been such a blessing so that we can face finally. So imagine each of us have our soul aspects, and the soul aspect is connected to a soul monad. So imagine like there is you in the center, and then there's the 12 of you here. And then you have to meet each of them, whether that one is the despair or the anger or the helplessness or the joy or whatever. Those are all parts of you that you have to address. And for so long, we've shoved all of this, and we haven't been able to, we haven't really, we've done the work. No, we've done the work, but we haven't, as a collective, had the space and the time to then really go deeper collectively. And I feel this is the space from March, the collectively, each of us have gone in even greater, even deeper, so that together we're rising as resurrected society. And those of us bringers of light workers, earth's, star seeds, earth angels, we're the ones who are stepping forward as resurrected flame first, because as the society is crumbling, and so much is crumbling with its massive, there's like rings and rings and rings of crumbling, then we are able to just stay here in that neutral alignment, so that others can, because we've gone through it not once, not twice, hundreds of times just in this incarnation, we're balanced enough where we can just hold the vibration so that the other ones can go through. And
get to do is to hold that compassion, because with so much that's happening outward, and so many stories that we may not agree with, or so many triggers that come up, our job is to stay in that neutral place, even when we feel that in ourselves, to bring that dear level away. And what I love what you said from the collective point is, really in our lives, for many of us, we haven't seen this on such a worldwide scale.
Yeah.
And it's like we see it in the collective, but you see it moving through the whole world. And to have every single person a part of this, even we were joking around and talking about, I wonder if there's any islands out there that actually people don't know what's happening out there. Yet in our collective, it's being placed before us. And I find that the more compassionate we can be, even with the energies that we may not choose to agree with. Even
so that's a good point. That's a good point.
Let me just finish. Even with the darkness, we can call it the Illuminati, we can call it the 5G, we can call it the coronavirus. Either way, the divine has created both. And as Honey and I know, the divine did create this for our ultimate level to rise and to expand. Yet I feel the true test, and this is what I was feeling in my prayers this morning when I was going through the angelic level of just bringing forgiveness in our collective, is to bring how much, like, to dive into that love that we feel of what we really appreciate, that, and then expand that to all the areas that make us feel upset, that feel stressed, that we don't agree with, all the opposite opinions that are just all. But hold on one second.
There's an important part, Mariam. You mentioned something. So here's a really beautiful test, so you can see for yourself. For those of you, for example, that whether Mariam says whether it's a conspiracy, whether Q, 5G, to me, watch the Q. Watch several videos of Q. Watch 2 days ago, President Trump's speech that was about the liberation of this 20-year anniversary of, well, also the trafficking that they're putting to it. Watch watch the David Icke one. Watch your response.
Yeah.
The way you know where you are is your reaction. Are you crumbling? Are you having knee-jerk? Are you able to watch and see within all there's truth?
Yeah.
Within all there's truth, and within all there's false. So you have false positive, you have false negative, you have all of that mixed. And the key is, are you able to actually see through it? So for the very, 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 very first time ever, I don't get involved at all with politics. Nothing. Nothing. Because I know better. So for the first time, I actually watched this clip. I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself permission to watch this thing that was played out about the, I don't even have the right language for it. For example, all the things that were signed for the trafficking, child trafficking, human trafficking. And I watched Trump. This is the first time I've watched it. I'm not like the other ones. I've never watched it. And I was like, wow, very interesting. So I got to just watch and feel inside of me what was going through me. And from what I know, also what I had discovered in my 20 years of research and the way I had been, the things that I had discovered, and just being able to watch the cue to see what resonates, what doesn't resonate. Watch it. So to me is, when you're able to be completely, like, absolutely know that you have that response, that means there's something for you to look at.
And Caitlin, you mentioned it very clear. You pinpointed when watching through it all.
Yeah.
The biggest test, the biggest gift is to see, is there judgment coming through you? Mm-hmm. In our light community, in our social media community, there's everything being presented out there. And the biggest piece is to really look within our hearts and saying, am I judging that person for what they believe in? Am I disassociating with them or looking at them in a whole different way because they wrote this post? Because they are putting Trump in a spotlight that may have any disassemblance with their own beliefs, have I now pushed that person away? It's really interesting to see deep within yourself, because we see it within our own friendships and our own spiritual community. Because if one person agrees with one thing, all of a sudden it says, well, I can't be friends with you because of that. And so let me just finish. So it's important to really look deep into that judgment and to really pinpoint yourself and saying, where is this belief within me that I'm giving my energy away, that's actually controlling my actions and allowing me to make decisions, which may be a complete illusion because it was just given to you in an old program. And now to come back to love and say, can I truly love this person? Can I still hold that same compassion, even if they are completely a Republican, a Democrat, a sexist, a racist? Can we still give that same compassion, that same love to them? Because that's ultimately our role. That's ultimately our role as beings of light, and in any which way, to still have that forgiveness and love to say, okay, we may be in a PhD level and there's a kindergarten, but we don't disassociate because the kindergarten may be just at an immature level and a lack of consciousness. They may not be aware that they're running off traumatic wounds or a feeling that they don't feel secure in themselves, or somewhere underneath they just don't feel safe.
But on a whole nother level, I love what you said, Michael, and I wanted to share this. So something was very interesting to me that goes back to coronavirus. And so Michael and I absolutely refuse to wear gloves, refuse to wear masks. I want to be very public. I was like, I want to be public. I want to be public about this. Very good. Because first, our consciousness we respect everybody where they are, social distancing, all that. Our consciousness, there's a whole other reality that we see through. So this happened to me in this clip that I was seeing. I was telling Michael, I was like, Michael, look how interesting. So here is, for example, the president of the United States and the people, we're supposed to have social distancing, 6 feet. Here, everybody's there. All these like press people are there. They're all next to each other. Nobody has gloves. Nobody has mask, and there's no social distance. So I said, Michael, how ridiculous is this? If we seriously had a major outbreak of a crazy virus, you better breathe. Everything would be shut. Like, I mean, it would be such a, so how could the buses still be running, airplane? Like, this is how you see through it. So like, you just kind of laugh because there's bigger picture behind it. And the way bigger picture, because you can see your indicator, not from here. From here, you can see through it because you're seeing through the lens of your heart, and you can see a whole other picture. Because that also is part of it, and you also are able to decipher by where this resonance is, and where have you been able to still, are you operating from the fear operating system, or you're not? And it's a consciousness, and I feel part of it has to do, as light workers, we're given the opportunity to own our divine empowerment. And again, with the video I spoke last week, when you are aligned with your divine, there's such a power, presence in that this consciousness cannot live in your reality. So as a result of it, it will not be brought in your vibration reality. But when you're conscious, I will wear gloves, I will wear masks, because I'm operating there. So of course you're going to bring it to your reality. And of course your vibratory cells are going to be weaker. And of course, I'm going to try, this protective shield is not going to be, the plasma around us is going to be weaker. So of course you're going to bring it. And of course you're going to be around through these megahertz radio frequencies. As a result, you are going to experience this. Like I say.
And to all respectful people, for those that are wearing masks, for those that are wearing gloves, God bless you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean all of you are fear-based and going to catch the coronavirus, because we know that it is what's being broadcast out there, and it's what people in their own comfort feel, and that is their comfort to choose what is best for them. And so God bless them all.
Yeah. No judgment. No
judgment whatsoever. Actually, I had to look at my own judgment yesterday, because I went to Trader Joe's and I was in line. And for those that haven't been to a store, I don't know how the stores are across the states, but we have 6 feet between each person. So honey's like, okay, go to the store tomorrow. So I had my list, and I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful day. Here comes the rain. I'm going to go to Trader Joe's because the rain's going to come. It's going to clear the line out. Well, it didn't rain, and I'm there. Can I tell you, I sat in line. Everyone had gloves. They had all their suits on, and I come and I'm
with
smiling,
your crystals,
and I'm with my crystals, and everyone's like looking at me. And the funny thing is, I couldn't quite understand why they were looking, because when people are all covered up in masks, and the only thing is you see their eyes, and they're all like looking at me, because for some reason I don't have anything on. So I'm like, okay, are they looking on because I'm smiling? I got my crystals on. I'm humming, and they're like, okay, what's wrong with this guy? Or was I judging myself and saying, at one point, my ego was like, am I going to be allowed to go into the store because I'm not wearing gloves or a mask? And it was such a test to see how I was going to react from my own fear and my own belief system, because honey and I, we've just chosen, and we've received the messages that we need to feel in our own health, but we've just chosen that we're not going to wear gloves. We're not going to wear a mask. The point being is, it's almost like the greatest test when you can be the minority in a situation where there's so much fear around you and there's so much hysteria, and still hold that vibration that there's nothing wrong, everything's good, to the point that when I came out of the store to the Trader Joe's, and she's like, I remember you last time with this. You said your beloved made you. And I turned over and I said, dear, you understand this because we spoke about your retreat in Costa Rica. I said, my dear beloved is a multidimensional transmedium channeler, and we just received from the Galactic Federation of Light that actually all of this is for us to raise in our conscious vibration. So all these masks and everything, God bless everyone. But on a higher note, we're here just to expand our conscious awareness so this shift can collectively move us into the 5D generation. She looked at me like, thank you. I really need to hear that. I'm like, I respect all of them, but I almost want to I don't know, share that in a way that so one person could feel that, so it could bounce off every single person, because here she was letting people in one person at a time as one person came out. And it was extraordinary to the point that my own mother, when I was FaceTiming her, says, where's your gloves? I was like, Mom, it's not a cold day. She's like, no. Where's your gloves for the corona? I'm like, honey gave me little wipes. I'm wiping my hands, everything. She's like, are you using Clorox? I'm like, Mom, every time I come up to you 1 week, we have the same conversation. Yeah. God bless her. And I tell her, I said, I'm doing my best. I'm washing my hands. My dear beloved is showing me that we're taking the extra steps.
No, I'm a mother of boys. I've always been, because boys' hands go everywhere. Oh my God, the hands in the penis a lot, and everywhere else, touches everywhere else. So always, I mean, they call it, did you wash your hands? Did you wash? So
place?
wash? No, it's not a place, but that also goes into this. It goes in this. It goes in the car. It's on their thing. It just goes everywhere. So we have a very open conversation here. So I was like, whenever they come, whether it's them or Michael or my former spouse, it's like, did you wash your hands? That's just a mother. Did you wash your hands? Because the hands go everywhere, So for me, it has nothing to do with Corona, because did you wash your hands? Because
and it's beautiful because as a mother, she shows, and I tend to ride the edge a little. People know me, I'm the one wearing the motorcycle without the helmet in Mexico. I'm surfing the biggest wave before it crashes down. I ride the edge, and God bless my sacred divine partner in her femininity and just being a mother and just sharing with me of just the safety level. So in all respect, in all consciousness, keep wearing your gloves if it makes you feel comfortable. Wear your mask if it works with them, but also look at the deeper truth of what's behind it. And I find that many of you are already aware that there is such a great power that has been brewing underneath this. And I feel even myself, there's been a little anticipation and almost anxiousness of like, okay, let's get moving forward, because we know what's happening. We just have to keep experiencing what's around us so that we can share more love. We can share more light. I go into the stores. I'm that weird person. I'm smiling at everyone. And of course, I can't see their smiles back because they have the masks on, but I'm singing in my head. Honey and I actually were thinking, like, what happens if we went to one of these like stores that had lines, and we came in and we started singing like, don't worry, be happy. We started playing some music just to bring the vibration up. So however you can choose in your own manner to share that vibration, even if it's within yourself and your own protection. God bless you. Anything that you want to do to hold that. All I'm saying
but the point being, I feel vibratory. We're going back to vibration, right? Vibratory, where you're vibrating. Again, there are different timelines taking place simultaneously. So we're experiencing reality and where we are. Yet at the same time, there's that opportunity within all of us, within the collective, within the quarantine, to be able to, view the material we get from 5G, from QAnon, from whatever, from, the World Health Organization. And CDC. Here's one, for example, for me, Bill Gates, for example. I have my own, here's mine. I have my reaction towards that. So I was like, okay, let's see. I got to work on this a little bit because I have a reaction, because I do feel he's the most evil being that is behind World Health Organization, that pure evil, that wants to use his agenda to world dominate vaccinations. So I do have a lot. It's like this vessel, no vaccination here, not for my children, none. So, and I'm very aware of my reaction. So that's like, okay, let me look at this. So where in me, I gotta like, there's this thing that resides total truth in me for this truly evil being, but I do not want that that presence to have a hold over me, because I will pull that energy into my field. So that's another one that I'm consciously aware. Have I dissolved that yet? Not yet, but I'm very active. I'm very consciously aware of this vibration within my field. So that's the point. Can you observe yourself in relation to what is being shown, revealed to you, because it's part of your resurrection.
And I'm so happy you mentioned Bill Gates, because I feel in all that is going to be revealed and everything that's going to be brought forward, one of our biggest tests is going to be our forgiveness, and to really look at what's before us. Can we forgive some of the most craziest, horrible, saddest atrocities that are going to be placed forward in mankind? Are we able to not only forgive that, but are we able to look within ourselves to see what's coming up out of that? Because there's going to be great masses that when they see this, the amount of emotion, anger, the amount of just sadness, the pain, can we forgive this too? Because when we know from a deeper range that every soul, every being knew exactly what their contract was coming into this life and what contract they are leaving. And it's important to show our compassion. It's important to show our empathy, our sympathy, but at the same time, we also know there is a divine plan behind all of this, and to hold that in the highest divinity of unconditional love. And that's, I find, our biggest test, when we can look at those that really anger us, those energies, even the coronavirus of like, wow, I can't work. I can't just look at the things that it upsets us the most and see what level of forgiveness we can apply. Because that's when we know that we're being it versus just talking it. We're allowing ourselves to walk the walk versus just constantly throw bombs out there of what's not being right, what's wrong, and all the things that are moving through. So I bring this up because I feel, when we look at resurrection, when we look the phoenix out of the ashes, there is a huge aspect of letting go. And in letting go, it requires forgiveness in the pure acceptance of this. And the divine brought this forward for us. And so we have to bring that into our hearts to really acknowledge and recognize that there is no, we want to say disease, but there is no disharmony that's going to pull us apart and bring us down, because the greater divinity of it all is watch what's before us, watch what's happening within us, and see how humanity is coming together to bring full hearts, full love, full, beautiful Demetrius, full mercy and compassion that we get to use. Because if this did not happen, how deep could we go into the compassion of some of the things we might be seeing in front of us? So I bring forth forgiveness.
I want to touch on that also, because I really appreciate, Michael, what you said. A friend of mine sent me a picture of that's very disturbing, especially as a mother. Like it's just like animal cruelty. I just cannot see. Being very sensitive, children cruelty, like these things are just, it's so hard for me. But also I know that's part of me getting stronger and be able to, not the word stomach it, but how can I move to the trust and divine plan as I see this? And again, there's this fine line between standing up and also being able to recognize what's taking place on a larger picture. So there's this picture that I wanted to share with you all. It was a picture of many children that were duct taped like this, and their hands, feet duct tape, were put in cardboard boxes that were part of the child trafficking. And this friend of mine had said, okay, here's one of the pictures that's not shared everywhere right now, but this is the children that they've rescued, that they were in these boxes. So imagine they were duct tape, only in underwear, just their skin bare, and really hard to stomach that and see it. And I feel, because 20 years ago I came across this, I have my children going through it. There's so much, like, I've been able to handle seeing that now fall apart, but I can really see how this reality, most people are so clueless about, have no clue, and it would really shatter their realities. Speaking of realities, all is right when you, for example, look at Google. When you go on Google search engine, you're looking at something, your vibration dictates what you're going to see. So for example, you're going to find enough evidence to back up what you think and believe, because of where you are vibrationally vibrating in your ascension journey. So all is right. So all the people that are wearing the mask and their gloves, they're very correct and continue. The ones that are like, no, I have to absolutely, I'm so scared, I'm going to lock myself. Great. The ones that are like, well, QAnon, this is going to happen. Wonderful. The ones that are like, no, I still want Obama to do this. Great. Wonderful. All is correct. Yeah. All is correct. The ones that want to support Bill Gates and World Health Organization for vaccine because they're operating from that, they're correct. So the thing is, they, because of where they are vibrationally, they'll see the reality. But one of the things that is happening is that many of these realities that were part of the controlled, manipulated matrix is crumbling. Mm-hmm. And because it's crumbling during this quarantine, is giving us the opportunity. We are quarantined within ourselves so that we can rise out of our matrix reality. Mm-hmm. And that's beautiful. So I want to move this to another example. For example, many of us that don't know where our income is going to come from. So I have a funny thing to tell you. Like, for example, there are people that have 9-to-5 jobs, beautiful government workers. So in the US, I don't know what's happening in other countries, but like in the US, for example, we're Maryland, we're right outside DC. So, you know, we wrote, I made a post about like what to say to our landlord. So as most of you know, we travel and we teach, and everything from March and April has been completely postponed or delayed or canceled. So we're like, no problem, you know, we'll deal with this. And we don't have savings or anything like that. And most of you know, we live on love, gift, offering. So we live on trust, like no problem. We know divine takes care of us. So we wrote a letter to our landlord for the apartment complex we live in, and we explained this. So we've been 3 years here, amazing tenant, writing, never ever late, you know, keep the place meticulous. So we said, hey, this is what's going on. You know us. We need just a little bit of assistance here because everything's canceled. We're trying to figure things out. So because it's part of a corporation, they responded. They said, well, we give you with just a little break on late fee, but you still have to pay. So meanwhile, what's interesting, there are all these fund release coming up. So you can see this very interesting thing that's happening where people that, for example, file the taxes, have 9-to-5 jobs, have all of these, there are all these programs, they have to spend so much time. And I was like, wow, look at this. There's all of this like gathering more data from people behind the scenes, all of this taking place. And for people who are like, would be considered like healers or whatever, there's nothing right now. There's one program that is about, there's one program that's about like people who have gigs.
Off the grid.
Yeah, off the grid.
That don't
and
have,
there's
like,
one thing about, there's one thing about the, those who have gigs, and they're trying to come up something with that, but that's totally not approved. So here again, like you're sitting with it. Where are you? Are you scared? What are you facing? So Michael and I are like, not at all. For some reason, we have total trust. We can't even explain it to you because we recognize from the lens, everything is crumbling. So we talked to the manager here. She's so supportive.
Writing a letter.
So wrote her a letter. But again, point being, we're all facing all kinds of things, and it's how we are responding. Mm-hmm. Are we responding or are we reacting? Yeah. That's the key that determines your resurrection flame. This great Friday, Good Friday, right? We're moving into an energy of resurrection. Have we been able to resurrect from our limitations? You know, and not knowing where the money is going to come, what's going to happen? Are we, that usually throws people. But if you're like, I'm okay, it's going to be okay, that's a resurrection.
And you know what's really
in literally like in this earth reality term.
And what's really powerful, and this is for each of you, for beloved ones, for your family members, for friends that are losing their jobs, that are getting furloughed, that are so stressed because their jobs are falling away.
Yeah. And we're seeing people responding,
and we're seeing
how
that.
they're responding.
We're seeing that. Now imagine this. We know that this system of work has been constituted into our level of a survival mode, especially in
human slavery
in United States of America, and we see it in a lot of democracies. We have to work, we have to make money to pay our bills, and we have to keep using that for our sustenance. Imagine this in a resurrection. The old jobs, the people that are going to their day-to-day work, unhappy, unsatisfied, not of any joy whatsoever, are now being placed in a position where they're now being forced to choose what they want to do because it's no longer there. And what's so interesting is these jobs that are falling away are now going to give the opportunity through unemployment for people to rise in what they truly want to create from the joy and happiness of their hearts. For those that are sitting and I don't know how to make money, I don't know. We are coming into a state where our humanity is operating from pure love. And for all of those that are worried and stressed of what their old jobs, it's the biggest gift to say my job is now being demolished because it's no longer about a job anymore. It's about our service of what we choose from our happiness of our heart. And that happiness for all of those that are right now listening is going to be the main source of divine energy that is going to allow us no longer to be in the minority, but in the majority. And all of those that are in a situation of not knowing what to do, we are here to help them through the love of our hearts, to remind them of what they came here to do, from the joy, the happiness, and really from their own divinity that they feel it's being blessed upon, because no longer will there be work or situations that people are going to be forced to go out of unhappiness because it's going to be it's not going to be diffused. And I find it such an important message for a lot of us to share.
And this is why that's part of the Great Awakening.
Right. It's such a great message to remind fellow friends, families, those that are really focused on the limitation and the lack of that too is being resurrected in the rise of what is coming forward. That rise of, imagine all of the new opportunities, the jobs that haven't even been created yet, the opportunities where many of us are sitting at home and we're thinking, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do it? I can't see people. I can't hear people. Of course, everyone's jumping on the internet. God bless them. Many people are speaking about how they can come across, but even go bigger than that. Create what's not been created yet. Each of us has been given the greatest gift to shine individually and into our collective so that we can shine our heart for what really makes us feel happy. When I saw Honey place these seeds into the plants and her go bazooka-roo, and trust me, she's like a hopping bunny planting, and then put crystals around it, then pray around it, and then just see what the potential is in our sustainability. There is so much that is happening that is creating the deconstruction of this matrix.
But it's the ascension and descension.
Right.
We're ascending out of the matrix and we're descending the heavenly systems back here. Dan, you talked about we get rid of the monetary system. I've spoken about this. We will not have monetary system coming up, not immediate. We're part of the dismantling right now. Those of us in our age, we're part of the dismantling. But for example, my brother's niece, who's 2 years old, when they grow up, they're not going to have this because all of that is dismantling. The Arcturians had said the ray of light that you are radiating would be your monetary value. Your monetary is how much love you're able to contribute will be the value of your incredible. It won't be monetary system, but it will be the level of exchange. So there's a lot coming up and we're part of it. That's why it's been 4 years doing the work on Love Bliss gift offering. So for those of you that have been following, when you have an appointment with me or you have an appointment with Michael, you have to listen to your heart. We're not here to tell you because we don't want to support that that system. We cannot tell you because you have to access your heart. Then from there, you have to give yourself permission to listen to the voice of that heart, what wanted to offer. Then you have to bring the blessings, pray, breathe into it, pray into it, say it out loud. So that way the blessing comes behind supporting us because we're part of the change in the collective financial system. As Metatron had brought it, this has been 4 years that has been operating, and that means a lot of trust. That's why Michael and I can be in this place, not be concerned, because we know the way magically it works. We don't know how, but we've always seen it work.
And even if we are month to month and we don't see where things are moving, there's this ultimate trust that we're all here. We are all here in our divinity.
Yeah.
No one's going to starve. No one's going to be placed in a position, because humanity in its greatest devastations have always rose. It's always arisen. And what I find about the more that we're giving from our hearts without motives, without agendas, the more we give. It's like, have you ever taken a hose? And I remember this when I lived in San Diego, because I remember San Diego was always talking about a water drought. And when taking a hose and you water your lawn, and I'd always put my hand over it because the landlord would be like, watch your water. We didn't want to pay too much of a water bill, because he'd always pay for it. We weren't responsible. And so I'd always put the water out. But then it was like, imagine you just let the water come out, because the more we're letting out, the more that's coming back through us. And I find that one of the most important things is the more we're giving from our hearts, the more we're receiving, because it's an inverse relationship. It's not even it's a simplicity where out of our love, out of our joy,
but knowing we're not expecting anything.
No,
like, for example,
not.
Look, this, for those of you that have been on Valor, you've been here, Demetrius, you've been here for a long time. Our Friday tea time, we've had it on the other channel. We do this completely, look, almost hour and a half, 2 hours, out of the love, with nothing in expected return. Like this Sunday, we have our Sacred Sunday Spiritual Circle. Actually, Michael, this Sunday is our 2-year anniversary. It just dawned on me, of the Sacred Sunday Spiritual Circle, which is the 1 hour. All of you are welcome. It's the 1 hour. The messages of divine that come in, we bring it in, and usually we have a guest speaker that joins us. But this time we don't. We had to. Joy Adams was our speaker. We put her next month so that we can have the in person. But having said that, we do that from the joy of our heart, and then also the Tuesday night we added to do that again free. One of the things that we have discovered: the more we did free, the more giving hands gave to us in the most wondrous ways. Without expectation.
Without any expectation.
Anything.
And Dan, I love what you just wrote. Love is your currency.
Yes.
That is our ultimate currency that we all know intuitively. We know love is here. And the one thing that I'm aware of is the more love we give out, it is this vibrating capacity that's like throwing that rock into the pond and see it trickle out in ways that it expands, it illuminates higher, higher, higher. In this time, what I've seen is what I have done, what other healers, in just their natural love. There's been what we call miraculous, which we know is an everyday event. Gifts are given to us that we don't even know how to receive, because the donation's like, where did this come from?
So it's interesting. Let me share this. I had a messenger, somebody, a dear sister, send me some love gift offering. And I looked and I saw that. I was like, what is it? I was like, wait a minute. I didn't have an appointment with this person. Michael doesn't. So I left her a message. I said, hey, so-and-so, I saw this. My apology. I please forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I don't have an appointment with you, and neither does Michael. I think you made a mistake, and please just clarify for me. So she responded, and she said, no, honey, it's not a mistake. I wanted to give this to you and Michael because I really felt called. Last year, the amount you all have shared have done so much for me. And I really wanted to offer more. When I came to your event, I just couldn't. And I just feel right now is the best time that I can give to you, that makes me feel the greatest that I can give you. And Michael and I just stared at each other like, again, we've experienced this over and over, just the magic never, like there's a universe when you come from the goodness of your heart and you just open that and you don't do any of it. We don't do this because we want something we return at all. We don't even operate that. We do it from the joy, because when we are vibrating in this joy, you're vibrating with the source light of all illumination that's part of all creation. That naturally keeps us vitality really high. We're serving our calling, and the greater always takes care of us. We don't know how, but it just does. And it does it in the most magical way. So we don't have that as a concern to be worried about. And it's a program that we have dissolved out of ourselves individually and as a couple, resurrecting that density of concern, worry, fear, into the light, still continue in love and trust.
And imagine in that love and trust that we're building and expanding, that is going to be our daily service.
That's right. That's coming up.
That is what's coming up. Imagine now, and this is what I've been doing each morning, is I've been in my prayer, imagining my diamond crystalline heart, bringing the golden rays coming in and just feeling this just massive love, just as much love as possible. And then as I expand that, I imagine myself like the largest being of light, as big as a world, expand that love through all my emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, ethereal bodies. Expand, expand, expand. So all I am is just a conduit of this beautiful, amazing, precious love and light that is allowing me just to be the fullness of what I am, what you are. Imagine if that is our next step.
But if that's the priority, listen, if that is, so for example, I would ask you, what is your highest priority? Your highest priority. You can ask me, Michael, ask me, what is my highest priority?
What is your highest priority?
My highest priority to completely be devoted to the resurrection, to my I am presence, to bring in my I am presence. That's my highest priority above everything else. So if that's my highest priority, so that means these are all part of bringing it in. That means other things are not part of this. So for me, it's not about a job 9 to 5. For me, it's not about a job. For me, it's not about building a business. It's none of that. It's serving the resurrection flame, serving the I am presence, to be the greatest version of this mastery of the I am presence that I can possibly deliver, because that's what I'm devoted to.
Beautiful.
And then, so as a result, I'm put in all these positions to bring it through. Some days I do really well, and some days I don't. And, that's part of my self-evaluation. Okay, how did I do? How did I do? How did I do? And then whichever one I haven't evolved, got to go there and evolve that one.
So I want to read a beautiful, beautiful quote for a dear, dear sacred sister from Hawaii, where she goes, "It's all clearing. The muddy river is becoming clear and clear so others can see. A fractal piece is assisting these beautiful baby souls to clear, heal, and pass." Why? Because we can.
That's right.
Thank you, dear Sacred Heart, because
Thank you, Bonnie.
It's such a gift of what we're moving through right now, to clear, to cleanse, to purify. And really, it's an invitation. It's an invitation into our journey, and really see what other areas within me, what debris still have strength. Even before we started this and something came up, and honey, I was like, wow, I wanted to do this to this person. I wanted to do this. And it's like, wow, that energy still has a hold of me. And you know what? That's beautiful. That's like another golden goose egg that you've come out.
I was like, oh, I got to take care of that one too.
Look at this golden nugget that just came out that has that much power over me. And so it's, and just the other day when I was writing a personal love note to myself, and I wanted to go deeper, and I said, what fears still have a pull over me? So I can sit that fear next to me. I can harness it in a way where I can nurture it. I can give love to it. I can just create a oneness so it doesn't have a pull, because right now we're getting thrown left and right. We are not. Collective is getting thrown left and right. Many people are getting thrown left and right, and it's going to be up to us, all of you that are here that are going to be sharing your beautiful wisdom, your beautiful heart, but most important, your strength within your diamond crystalline heart, just to provide the comfort and safety and most important, security, because that's our ability to help ground them and just give them that opportunity to say, it's going to be all right. We got this. This is going to move forward. And whatever is being displayed, we know that we're going to rise and keep rising through it. And the gift is, all you have to do is just be from the love of your heart, share that in the joy and happiness, and just have fun with it. There's no more doing, thinking, trying. All you are just being the joy that you are. And to me, that's the gift that I feel is what's coming, because when we can thrive from our joy and happiness, then it's this natural nature, our beautiful gifts, from our compassion to our gratitude to our just virtues that are already within us. Now we're just letting it roll as the waves are coming in and washing all this away.
So something very important, about 2 years ago, May, when we were in Long Island for my Channeling the Masters event for our Long Island community, the Syrian High Council came through me for the group. And it was the Syrian High Council, right?
It was a Syrian elder. So, yeah.
The Syrian elder.
Yeah.
And he spoke about, actually went quite a bit in detail, the science of joy, and what joy, what actually does, very, as the mechanics of it, very, very powerful. Maybe we have to upload we still have to upload the transcription of it's transcribed. We have to just upload the Great Order Melchizedek. 1 second, on our Honey Borden author speaker page, and this one would be a good one, because I want to tie this. So this joy is very important. So let me just for a second bring this to this 5G. Some of you have been seeing my post about 5D. Sure, fifth dimensional consciousness. We are tuning into our, not just fifth dimensional consciousness, seventh dimensional beingness, ninth dimensional, 12th dimensional. There's so many parts of us that are returning back. So please note, it is such a supreme power. And the children that have come in, because they're part of this frequency of this higher technology, their system is already designed to handle more. The elderly are not, but these ones are, because they're plugged cable ready. The other part is that, so we who are somewhere in between, we have had to have our diamonds activated so we can handle, with a new template, handle some of these in a much greater way, because it's all about frequency. And when we know, let's say, the 5D, it's important to get educated on it and not be in fear of it. Through this quarantine, yes, many 5D towers are being implemented. You can go to a website to look up how many 5G towers are in your area. I pulled it up. There are 18 that are unregistered in our area. And then the other ones, there are a couple of them that are registered. There's a brand new high school being built that's all 5G. So what is this? There's a lot of 5G being implemented, being built throughout this quarantine, but you can get educated on it, because the education helps you. How does this technology work? It's a technology, but it's a technology. And every time one of these technologies, whether it was radio frequency that was brought in, whether it was 3G, whether it was 4G, there was a major outbreak. Why? Because on our systems had to get adjusted to it. Now I want to tie this to something. When Michael and I went to Morocco, when we were on our tour at the end of it, not this past year before September, we were in Morocco for 2 weeks. We drove the coast. Let me show you this picture.
We drove up the coast in one of the most barren places, because we wanted to see the ocean. I wanted to see the surf breaks, and we wanted to just see a very scenic route all the way up. Yet we didn't realize when we were driving through.
So let me show you this. So one of the things, as we got to this area, when we passed
some of the most crazy industrial plants you could possibly imagine.
It was so. Let me
Towers,
show you.
Buildings, and just heavy heavy, heavy smoke. I mean, if we thought the New Jersey Turnpike was one thing,
No.
this was a whole generation where literally when we drove, the grids of the land were so heavily built with the electric lines mixed with all of the stacks of chemical power that when we drove through.
But I remember as we drove, I was like, Michael, I'm not feeling right. And when we passed, that's when, and it was like about 5 days towards the end of our trip. I mean, shit hit the fan. Let's say shit really hit the fan. Till some of you know, when we came back to the US from the airplane, I got so sick. I was like, I have radiation poison. And it was 3 weeks. I was so deathly sick, but I could tell this radiation. So I remember one night Michael was working on me. He was doing shamanic acupuncture and healing on me. And then I entered the world of dragons. There's that video out. I'll post it for you if you haven't seen it. And I remember the dragons took me to their world. And then there was a group of the dragons that put the gathered around. They put a white sheet over me, and they said, we're going to clear the radiation out of your field. And at that time, I didn't even know how did radiation get, but I could tell. I was like, it's in my cells. Radiation got in my cells. It had literally violated my system. It was awful. But even within that awfulness, dragons I called in every part of me, all the angels to help me that particular week with that severity of the fever. It was 3 weeks to pull me out. But point being, that very much would be what you would consider a corona, any virus, because when your vibration system shifts and you go through one of these fields that affects your vibrational field, and if Michael and I, our food system, because we're vegetarians, was very limited in Morocco. So we were in more of a vulnerable place. So we were both got very impacted with it.
And what was interesting is the day before we went through all these fields, I went out surfing for the first time in Africa and Morocco. I came back that night, and for the first time, I can't remember this since Mexico, is I got Montezuma's revenge. It was coming up and out.
Oh my God.
I was in through the chills. Honey saw something that was extremely nerve-wracking because I was at a point where I was so cold that what came through me. Now, what's interesting about this virus is when this 5G, when this radiation comes in, it automatically places our body into a fight or flight where it wants to push these toxins out. That's why it affects our respiratory system. That's why it affects our orifices, because it's literally clearing all of it out.
That's where you get fever.
That's where you get fever. Because your fever is your natural response. Your heat is helped to clear it. Now, studying Eastern medicine, Western medicine, shamanic medicine, our body is its own natural healer. It does everything that it takes to clear and cleanse. And as I was telling Honey, I was like, isn't it amazing that when we catch a virus, it actually helps strengthen us? Because if I wouldn't have been what I almost felt deathly ill just from surfing, which I knew was probably contamination of what I was ever swimming in, because I knew further up, and it was one of my best surfs that I ever had in Africa, it still brought me into a place where after that, my immune system, the strength of what I was, empowered me to get through every plant, every radioactive area, and to help Honey for those next 3 weeks to help the revitalization process within her. In that, what came out was also strengthening and cleansing. So the gift of the virus, which obviously for those that don't have the weakened immune system, it makes you stronger. It creates the antibodies to help give you more resistance. Obviously, those that have a weaker immunity have areas where they're not in their fullness of strength. It attacks harder.
So speaking of that, by the way, I love Bonnie. That's Shimari and Timari. Got a little giddy here. So point being, going back to this technology of joy. So while we have these 5G being installed, do not fear. You can still affect your own biosphere and your cellular your cells, the biosphere around your cells, particularly the structure around it, that's plasma, by the power of your joy. The power of your joy is at the highest level of protective field around you, because whatever comes bounces back up. It is an actual incredible technology. We are a living technology. So through, again, quarantine, we're learning how to utilize our deeper technology. And that's the gift of it. So let them install 5G, because after it's going to be 6G, after it's going to be 7G, whatever.
But let me just finish one thing with you said. When the Syrian High Council came in through Honey in Long Island, they kind of laughed at us, because as they came through, they said, you have been placed here to live from the prioritizing
joy above all.
And they said, how many of you do that? And like people were starting to like raise their hands like this, like, no, you don't. It's like, not even this one that needs to learn how to play a little more.
Wait, do you have the recording for a second? Is it on here?
It's here, but it's deeply buried with all the others. But the point being was, they were kind of calling out people's shit, because they were saying, look what you do each and every day. You wake up and you prioritize work. You prioritize all the responsibilities, a do list. But they said it's backwards. You know, it's literally our livingness is based on prioritizing joy.
And it says, like, your job, your highest responsibility is to prioritize joy above all, and none of you are doing it. So being, you can't be in the highest level of immunity, because the part that you as a being of light in a human form, you have to adhere. You've forgotten all about it, right?
And when you vibrate from joy, imagine how much expansion of light you are automatically blasting out. When vibrating from joy, how much does it take you from moment to moment to moment, not being stuck in the past or present, not being worried, but when in that level of joy, it gives us the highest frequency to connect what we already are putting out into our own intentionality. That joy is here for us. And it's almost a game in a way, because imagine you wake up in the day, okay, how am I going to prioritize joy first? What am I going to do before I maybe check my email, check my message? Because that could be joy, but it could also be a program or addiction, or it could be something that it's a reflex, right? Imagine prioritizing joy. Do I wake up and the very first thing, what do I do to prioritize joy? And how can I look at my whole day and then look at how that joy is being put in the highest momentum? Because everything that you're doing from that joy will equally and opposite co-create the things that you want versus the responsibilities that sometimes pull us down, because we prioritize those because of these have tos, or it's part of the plan. And once we start to like go back into that joy, into that nature and that innocence, I mean, think of children. They prioritize joy because once they wake up, what do they want to do? They want to play. For me, I want to play all day. I remember when I was little, I used to call my friends and I said, Russ, are you allowed to play today? Hold on. Mom, can I play today? Yes, you can play. We would go out and play all day. And that was prioritizing joy. So we invite you in that nature to look at how important it is to stay above all of this, but most important to look in this isolation.
Yeah, so again, not go with the 5G. Again, I laugh. 5D. I say, I bring your 5D and above. 5D, kick ass the 5G. I kick ass the 5.
And just remember this: as much as what they say about 5G, most, if not all of us that have been on this path have already been given the immunity.
That's right.
That 5G won't affect us. Honey and I, we don't put our phones in our room.
Yeah.
We put different things around us. We wear things. We put things on our phone. But just remember, for those that are hearing about the 5G effects.
But I will tell you, I did also get the BioShield. So that should arrive this week with my dear friend, Dr. Straw, that creates them. Just because I know there's one just to do it more. We have all of our crystals. Your crystals are going to do it. Your plants in your house are going to do it. More plants of that. Your candles will do it. The breath, the dancing, all of this will be able to keep it at a high level, because what it does, it literally is like a microwave, and the microwave just cooks everything. So you don't want your cells, these ones, to be cooking the cell wall. What it does, it literally like removes the cell wall, which is the protective field, which is the corona, the crown of it. The crown of it is called corona. So what you want to be able to have that, but the way you do it with structured water within yourself, being able to put your praise, the power of praise important.
Visualizing your diamond crystal body and blasting that out so nothing can affect you.
Like and talk to yourselves. If you haven't talked to yourself, talk to your 50 trillion cells so they can respond. These are all ways that you can.
Cats, hug
that's
your little
right.
Kitty cat
That's right.
I know that she wants a kitty cat so bad. I know. Once we find a bigger place that we could do it. So
those are all the ways that you can do that, and have fun, be naked, make love, enjoy, have some self-pleasure and enjoy. Just keep the vibration really, really high, which will support the more you bring your higher dimensional. So it's beyond 5D, your 5D, your 7D, your 9D, your 11, 12, whatever, 44 freaking D, it will be able to blast this because it's giving you the opportunity. The 5G is giving you the opportunity to bring your higher D's dimensions.
And Valerie, look, there's my shungite right here.
We have that.
I put the shungite right here, and I believe in all of those. But
I've been putting my key codes, like all my light language behind it, like on things. So we have light language around to be able to blast it.
We tell our kids, when I grew up with my hippie new age family, you know what they'd always say when we go to school? Can you just put the light around you? So I'd walk down when I was in first grade, second grade. I'm like, okay. And I'd be talking. I'm like, I'm putting the white light around me. I'm putting the bubble around me.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel is your vision. If it's a Merkaba, if it's a pyramid, if it's a triangle, however you choose, if it's one big kitty cat, however light of love you want to put around you to be your force field, it's going to give you the ability to fully protect yourself around it. Even in prayer the other day, the actually modem was right next to me, and I played a little joke of like.
But wait a minute. We need to just address one thing very quickly. You're not going to put this protection around you from a place of fear. You're going to bring the love of the divine into it that creates the natural protection. The joy creates the natural protection. Because if you are going in and I'm going to put this around me to go against the 5G, with all respect, you are going to be infected and you are going to be affected because your vibration is coming from a place that, I have to protect myself. Anytime you go, you have to protect yourself. You're coming from that place that is not already vibrating in a protective field. So as a result, you will bring it into your field.
So what I did in prayer, and I realized when Honey's in one room, I'm in the other, and the modem's right next to me. When I was bringing all the love one day and I heard this little high pierce in my ear, I pretended I was like this little magician, well, not pretend, and just took my hands to the modem and just sent as much love to the 5G. I was like, 5G, you're right next to me. Maybe I'm supposed to be here right now so I can radiate all these waves of light, send it back to the 5G, and wherever it came from, then I'm going to blast it with as much love as possible. Go ahead.
So this has been coming to. So for those of you who've been connecting, please on Tuesday night, this has been coming to me, please. So this Tuesday night, I've been receiving so much information. When we gather, I would love for those of us, maybe this Tuesday night, we see in our vision, when we go into the silent meditation, the 5G towers placed all around Earth, vibrating. We're going to shift the consciousnesses of it together, vibrating the pulse of divine light instead. If we get together, so I get like 1 second. Tira taya mukura ta iya katimia kuataya. So when look at all this, I'm getting all the streams coming in. So when you come together, we come together as a consciousness, we go into that programming that is designed to create harm. We can use the same freaking programming to do good, to pulse out, like the great Ora Melchizedek say, pulse out the light instead as it's vibrating it out. So I would love for you all to join us Tuesday night. Let's dedicate it to, we don't need to burn them. We don't need to take them down. Let's see all of them placed in a crystalline diamond light and watching it only blasting out the Christ light.
Christ
Talk
light,
about
Christ love.
Talk
and
about
even-
how
and-
the
and even
owners are going to have a shit fit because what they plant doesn't work.
light,
right?
love, and even if you want to, Care Bears. Whatever,
That's right.
Whatever energy that you could put
Right.
out in your highest love, blast it out so that you can feel it. Whatever makes you feel in that radiance, blast that out so
That's
that we
right.
know that we are the transmitters of the new age, of the new golden age that allows us to fully blast into the
That's
next
right. So
level.
please, that's Tuesday night. Join us and let's do this. Do not give. Be educated. See how it works. Use the technology of its creation and bring your higher vibration of your higher dimension. Because if you look at this, is just 5G. So okay, no problem.
gotten
It's
70,
just about
80,
it's a
90.
weapon, right? Look, what is the ultimate weapon we got? Love. So let's bring that down. Doesn't it talk? So as we're ascending,
Blast
there's
it.
this part of
Blast it.
descension, right? We can totally do
It's
this.
not even a weapon.
To me-
It's actually
But no, but it's-
our ability to.
But
to
it's our
live.
high. So I'm not looking at it
Yeah.
from the third dimensional consciousness of weapon. I'm looking at it. Okay, here's this. What do we have that's
It's a
so much?
diffuser.
It's a diffuser
Yeah.
that it can just literally. So, for example, let's talk about this. The sound, right? So if you put like a crystal glass, right? A crystal glass. If you vibrate the crystal glass with a C sharp note, why does that blast? Right? Because there's a frequency that blasts it. That's exactly what we can do. And to me, when we have this power in us, what the hell to sit down and be worried about the installation of the freaking towers? I'm not even going to give my energy there because I know what is capable in me. And I feel that's what those of you that are in here, you already know this. So this is what we can do, but yet get educated.
Yeah.
Get educated so you know, okay, so here's how it works. Great.
And
Let us bring our parts into it.
Start playing with it in your imagination and your creativity through your visualizations,
Yeah.
guided journeys, shamanic journeys, walking in nature. Keep blasting that out because what I love about this idea is the more
You like that idea?
I love
wanted
it.
to tell because that was coming to me this
Wait,
week. I told you so much has been
it's
coming
funny
in.
because remember when I said a couple weeks ago I was blasting the love back to the modem right there,
Yeah.
and so it's taking it to the next level because
Yeah.
it's saying that, gosh, imagine we are golden beings.
Yeah.
Imagine we're golden beings.
Our love, Demetrius, our love, blasted with our love. I'm telling you, our love.
Like, imagine
blast.
we can just keep, imagining that that ability to radiate all of our love, all
Right.
of our light, and wherever we go, which is automatically happening, wherever we place our footsteps, we're doing our natural planetary healing for the world because
That's
we're just shying it out. The key of it is to do it from the joy, the happiness in love, not in fear or anger or pissed off at the 5G. Do it from the love of it because that
Yeah.
is the ultimate diffuser and aligning it what comes into our hearts. So I feel that
Yeah.
like the more we can pass that along, share it, and just go back into your heart and say, okay, this all this power reigns within me, and all I have to do is share that just through my smiles and joy of everyday life.
Bring the rainbow lights
Yeah.
in. And let me. Speaking of this is my newest family member, Rainbow Being. Those are I have a whole collection.
This is her new
my
addiction.
my new sacred star being. That's bringing me so. This one actually reminds me of the Materians that I've told you about that I've been in contact with, and they're communicating through me. Their color is actually this with the gold. And it's been remarkable, just remarkable, all the information that I'm getting from them, from their world. And so more on that to
Yeah.
come. But anyway.
Thank you for
Rainbow
your
lights.
beautiful laughs and wonderful love. It's always a joy when we can come together and not know what's going to come out, but we just share it. Stream.
Dance.
We were supposed to dance.
Oh, we were going to put the music on. Dance, ecstatic dance. But you know what? Maybe what we'll do is it's 2 hours
Yeah,
now.
I already got to it. It's okay.
Oh, we're gonna put ecstatic dance
We
music.
could
So
do
you
it
know what
another
we're gonna
time.
do?
We could do another time ecstatic dance, but how about we'll just say FYI, future ecstatic dance, and we'll
Thank
we'll
you, Dan,
jive.
for being with us. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Demetrius.
Thank you, Shri and
Thank
T.
you so much, love to it. Thank you, Kelly. I mean, so many of you join us. Kim and Mariam and Christina and Valerie.
Thank you.
Kelly. So much love to all of you. So let us just read the angel message for today. Thank you, Chuck and Connie. The angel message for today. And so we wrap this up. And again, we move into this resurrection weekend. Please do join us on Sunday for our Sacred Sunday spiritual service. That's a very different energy than our Friday tea time. We'll be standing over there, and it's very much almost like a love church service for an hour. There will be invocations that we will share. Michael and I go to our own individual place. We receive what the message is divine is, and we bring it. And it's very much more like a church service, but not that church. Is our love church gathering. And it's very powerful. Demetrius has been on there quite a bit. So ask Caitlin. Caitlin, thank you so much. And then we'll also join with you on Tuesday night, 7:45. And then we hold that 30-minute vision. And let's dedicate that to blasting the 5G with our 5D and beyond.
Which is a perfect angelic message for today.
Yay.
Cannot be even better. So all of you guys right now, go ahead and just place your hands.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda. Place your hands over your heart. Take 2 more deep breaths in. One more deep breath in. And listening deep within your heart. Choose happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is a state of being that you create. It's a choice that comes from within, no matter what's happening around you. Today, give yourself the therapeutic gift of choosing this magical emotion, one that has the power to dissolve crisis, heal illness, mend disagreements, and attract new opportunities. Feeling happy is the ultimate display of faith that your prayers have been heard and answered. And your belief is always rewarded in the ways that yield blissful surprises. This cycle is a healthy one. The more joyful you are, the more experiences you attract that support your well-being. So choose happiness, setting your attention to stay lighthearted and loving in your outlook today. If you become sidetracked into negativity, remember joy. Just the thought of it is enough to evoke its light, which shines away all negativity. Be the beacon of this emotion today in order to inspire and guide others to choose it for themselves as well. After all, the best way to teach happiness is to practice it yourself. The thought for today, repeating after me: I choose happiness.
I choose happiness.
And hold optimistic thoughts and feelings.
And hold optimistic thoughts and feelings.
I lift the spirit of those around me.
I lift the spirit of those around me.
Spreading joy far and wide.
Spreading joy far and wide.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank
That
you.
was perfect.
Perfect one. I love how they brought joy into it, because
So
that was our
Such
theme for today.
It's the message 101, right? 101.
Today is
Day 101 of
101. Look at that
2020.
11 popping in on
Look at that.
goodness, greatness, grossness of Friday.
And let's see what the Ascension Oracle cards have to say to us today. What message they have for our beautiful group that has gathered. Neptune, number 19, which is also a 10, number 1. Neptune is the planet of higher spirituality and the wisdom of Atlantis and Lemuria held within its ascended aspect. You're blessed, for only you receive this card when you are ready to receive their information. Your guidance is to tune in to your Earth Star Chakra. Your Earth Star Chakra is 3 feet above your crown chakra. Then connect with Neptune, the cosmic Earth Star Chakra. Archangel Sandoval oversees the center. He nurtures your divine potential and will help you download the spiritual light you're waiting for. This will expand your consciousness and greatly assist your ascension journey. So the affirmation is, I attune to the wisdom of Atlantis and Lemuria held in Neptune.
I attune to the wisdom of Atlantis and Lemuria held in Neptune.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Beautiful.
Thank you all for joining from country, sea.
By the way, Dimitris, Dan, you all need to, I don't know if you got a chance to see each other when we were in London. You two should know each other, should connect with each other. You both are London dear brothers.
Yes. And so just remember, everything that's moving through is a gift for all of us, as each and every one of you are a gift in what's being offered in this beautiful, beautiful, wonderful adventure that's before us. We thank you so much for all of you joining today on this day that we can share. We don't give 6 feet. We give hugs and love to all of you guys because we just feel blessed that we can share this, because we know through this screen there is activations of love that we get to share with you. So thank you so much for this beautiful love.
Thank you for your time
just
today.
The time that you shared, because all of us are moving through magnificent transformations, transmutations, and it's exactly perfect in wherever we are. And we just want to remind you that that light, love, joy, happiness is here to share. And we could not be more happier that you're with us today to share that, because I know that we're here to support, lift, and just bring forth what we already know. And it's this beautiful light that's before us.
So have a remarkable weekend, however way it will be. And Sunday, consider joining us at 11 a.m. Eastern for our Sacred Sunday Spiritual Circle right here on our YouTube channel. 22nd of April is Earth Day. We're taking part globally with this amazing, incredible event where we'll be on for 1 hour doing our part for the highest celebration of the sentient beings on Earth. So we announced that so you can join in. And we're very, very grateful. Other part that I want to share, on Honey Burden Author Speaker Healer page. It was funny this week, Tuesday night, after the meditation, the experience I had with the Galactic Federation of Light, I went to do the live on Honey Burden Author Speaker Healer live stream, but somehow I went in my personal. So I promise I'm going to also put the transcript of the great Order Melchizedek when it spoke through me. It's so detailed there. I haven't done that in the last couple of days, so we'll upload it today. So thank you for your patience on that.
And to also know that if by chance, we love you joining us live, but if by chance, depending on time zone, if you're still sleeping, and when we do these from our Sacred Sunday Spiritual Service or our Tuesday night meditations, we love if you're there. But even if not, you can still go back, listen to our beautiful live streams.
Take part,
and most important, share that with those that may need just a little support.
Especially Tuesday night, Sunday. Invite others to
pass
take
it
part.
along to those that could just feel a little support. Magda, it was beautiful that you received this, because I know a lot of times, we wake up feeling different vibrations, and when we can just give a little love, share a little peace, a little light, it really helps promote. So any of you that are watching this today that feel vibrate, that feel excited, and you just want to pass this forward just to allow this domino effect of light to come. We appreciate that, because we know that we're all here together as one heart, one love.
And that spreads the joy, sharing. And Dimitris, you've been the most generous sharing we've ever experienced. Like
he's going to be
share
the new ambassador of generosity.
No, but seriously, like I'm always in awe, in pure awe. Your level of ability to share, you share everything. So, and also Simone,
Yeah.
generously share every post, every video, not just ours, many others, and you just constantly come between that. I mean, that is a true unconditional gift I've ever seen, and forever be grateful. And so many of you are
so many
sharing.
of you, so many, you know,
I
She
mean,
and T and Sunshine Love, and like there's so many beings here that have been sharing a lot of our posts, and we're just very grateful for all of you guys, and just to keep vibrating your beautiful love, keep vibrating your beautiful light, and know that this is some freaking phenomenal stuff that we're going to be talking through for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that we've been waiting for. This is stuff we've been born and bred for. So let's go out there and shine it and fully resurrect it to the fullest.
So I have to put the music later. They can dance to it. That's okay.
That's
so this was our longest Friday Tea Time Ascension talk. So much love to all of you.
Yeah, thank you for hanging in there. We usually do an hour, what she says.
Okay. So much love, everyone. Bye-bye.